Hi guys. I thought up to €4.95, something like €5, right? Well, I can't grow a chicken for that money. And this guy's brilliant. He's gone through the whole exercise of how much labor costs, the feed costs, and the feed costs were like flipping heck. So what you guy pays for a 50-pound bag of food for chickens, we pay half here in Ireland. That's interesting. That was the first observation that I had, right? That is like really lots of money. And he's really detailed here, and it is the proof that farmers are being hurt. Our whole economies are. We're in La La Land, guys. It's all make-believe. Magic wonderland. It's all bullshit. You can't produce a chicken for the supermarket, packed and stripped and killed and all of that for £5, right? You can't do it. So I said, well, how come they do it? So the next point he then raised was that, you got to grow your chicken food on your own. Well, that's really not that easy, and you need such a huge amount of chicken food, if you have, like me, 27 chickens by now, that it requires real knowledge and know-how to grow that much animal food, right? And and then I said to him, well, they get subsidized. That's how they can grow chicken for €5, It's all make-believe. It's all bullshit. It's none of it is real. We don't pay enough for our food to allow the farmers to become independent food producers. If we were to pay realistic prices for our food, we wouldn't have enough money left to buy all the shit that they advertise on telly that you're supposed to buy, yeah? So they have to subsidize all of this shit so that you have enough money left over to buy the shit that they advertise on the telly and to keep the farmers down, basically. Quoting the UK Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, this new agricultural bill will move closer to a future where farmers are properly supported to farm more innovatively and protect the environment. This might sound like an encouraging statement, but can we really trust these words and believe in a future that is more compassionate, blah, 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 blah? No, we can't. Currently, British farmers receive £3.4 billion a year in subsidies under the EU Common Agricultural Policy, CAP. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, it's all, Comrades, how's it going, comrade? Comrade Peasant, how's it going? Controversially, the subsidies are based on how much land a farmer owns and not how much they produce. To mention a few specific examples, British dairy farmers obtain over 56 million in EU direct payments, which make up almost 40% of their annual 40% of their annual profits. Lowland and upland livestock farmers receive about 38 million in subsidies, which make up over 90%. I mean, it's ridiculous, yeah. It's the CAP. Comrade, how's it going in the EU? It sucks. We don't have independent farmers. We got slaves everywhere. And bullshit prices everywhere. They didn't interfere. Farmers should be thriving. We should be buying the produce from them for a decent price. But they got to stuff as many of us into these stupid, made up, make-believe, stupid paper shuffling jobs. Nothing is right. Nothing is right. In comparison, farmers growing cereals obtain about 40 million in EU direct payments, equivalent to almost 80% of their annual profits. None of these people work for a living anymore because they don't get paid what they should get paid for their food, because food, is made to be so cheap. But half of the cereals, pulses and oil crops are used for animal feed, meaning that about 20 million of the subsidies for cereals are still for the livestock and dairy industry. And for fruit farms, the basic payment scheme only makes up about roughly 10% of their annual profit. So, that means if you're trying to compete with the farmers out there, you want to be self-sufficient, right? At today's food costs and compared to the finished product, you're actually better off not even bothering, because it's costing you too much to feed the damn things. Back in the days, the grain would have been dirt cheap, because you're feeding the grain to the chickens, and the chickens then are a more valuable commodity, because the world was probably still all right. So every farm used to have, some chickens, because the chicken scraps would be cheap to buy. That's no longer the case. It's all ridiculous land. And, even though we throw around with these terms and we seem to be knowing these things are going on, we don't really understand it until we feel it ourselves. And having tried to raise these chickens for self-sufficiency, I can tell you it's costing me more in feed than it's worth it, because I can't compete against the subsidies that the farmers get, so that the supermarkets can throw them at the customers for pennies.